as well jump in. G'day Wayne, John Day here from MediaWorks. How are you, mate?
G'day, John. I'm good, thanks.
Great. How good is it to be on tour with the Black Ferns?
Yeah, this is awesome for me because I've only been to Adelaide once before, and it was my second game for the All Blacks, 1980. Can't remember anything about the place, but so yeah, there's a bit of personal meaning there for me, and obviously with Laurie O'Reilly's Cup again, it's another big game. And it's great being on tour. I've missed it.
Are you able to get a bit tighter with the squad on tour? Are you able to do things that you wouldn't normally do at home?
Be hard to get any tighter with this team. They're pretty vibrant. They love it. They love a team meeting. They love a training. But yeah, I think that whole travel thing, coming over to somewhere new, I always find it exciting. You don't actually see a lot over here because you're working most of the time, but it's still great to be in a different environment and all together, and it's us against them. You know, I love that whole feeling of teamness in a time like this.
And 8 changes from last week, so are you just trying to give as many people as an opportunity to try and make that World Cup squad?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got very little time left before we select the team. We've got a lot of good players in the country. A lot of them have already played well for us, but there's some crunch times coming up. So, yeah, it's all about... I'm confident that this team will go well, and then it's a matter of individuals within it really showing up, really putting their names forward for that final selection.
And just finally from me, are there any areas in particular that you're looking more closely at than others?
Yeah, skill execution, I think, is one. So we play a game on top of the opposition. We work really hard on some. Yeah, we work. That's you, Adam. Got to mute your microphone, son. Yeah, we work really hard on some skills that are unique to us, and it takes a lot of work. Sometimes I think when players are away from your team, they drift back into old ways, and then they come back in, you've got to start again. So we're trying to improve that, make sure that the stuff we're working on here is worked on away from our environment. So that's one thing I want to see. Same with perhaps our roles and some of the moves, some of the plays that we've got. There's sometimes lack of clarity when we get back together. So there's been a good opportunity, being away from home altogether, being able to work on that stuff.
Cheers, mate.
Hello there, Wayne. It's Joe Pearson here from Stop.
Hey,
can you just tell us a bit about the 2 debutants? I mean, Grace's story's already out there, but there's not much we know about Santo, the latest prop. Can you tell us a bit about her and what their strengths are?
Yeah, so Santo was a centre at Te Puke High School. So she's very able, she's quick off the ground, pretty explosive prop. She's only 19, adapted to tight head prop, scrums well. I think she's going to be a force of nature given a bit of time. Clearly she's still at the start of her career, but we've been really impressed with her. I've been really impressed with the way she picks things up. She's a fast learner, and you can see that as you give information and you take her through a couple of things. She adapts really quickly to it. So I think, yeah, as I say, given time, she's going to be a really special Black Fern, I think. This is new for her, obviously. Some of it can be overwhelming with all the stuff that we do, but for her it's just a matter of keeping it really simple, do her basic jobs, and she'll do well. I think she'll shine. With Steinmetz, yeah, I was surprised that she didn't have a cap. She's a player that is pretty got electric feet. She really lights the turbos through contact. She's hard to handle. She's also really good defensively in that wide channel. So I think she's the sort of player who could adapt quickly between wing and fullback, multi-purpose. She's left foot kicker as well, which gives us, another option. So I'll be interested to see her go.
And just looking at the team, there's a handful of players who sort of played throughout the season with a mixture of players who are obviously getting an opportunity. How settled are you with the sort of group, say 30 odd, who you think will be sort of selected for the World Cup, or is it still nowhere really close to being decided yet?
Yeah, it's stopping me sleeping at night. It's difficult. Obviously, I'm new into this. I'm still finding out about some of these women. The other coaches know more about them than I do. And I'm anxious about, that we only pick 32 for the World Cup. And we've had a lot of players come through who have been outstanding, who aren't even here now. So there's some tough decisions to be made, some tough phone calls to be made. But we've got enough information now probably to make them. So, I think we're on target, but it's not easy.
And I understand there might be a couple more games before the World Cup, but is this test the last chance for a lot of the guys, a lot of the players, say, who are just in the team for this game?
Certainly one of the last ones. We've got we've got another camp, a short camp coming up, and we don't name the World Cup team till after that, so we'll have another Black Ferns camp. This is a critical game, obviously, but they all have been, so nothing really changes.
I guess just lastly for me, will there be any more opportunities for any of the players, say, from the FBC as sevens in the next couple of weeks or so?
Yeah. Just as in the men's game, you're always looking for players to shine in the finals because that's when the pressure comes on. So we'll be looking really closely at FBC, looking for those women who can really put their best foot forward under the pressure of a final. That's always really important.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Wayne, what sort of response do you expect from Australia on the home turf?
I'd assume that it'll be pretty vigorous response. They've selected some. They've got some new players in their team. Clearly, they see as home turf being really important to put a great performance on the field. They're a tough team, so the score can be misleading, and we clearly need a bit more accuracy in what we do, which doesn't mean we would have beaten them by more if we had scored those tries that we should have scored, because again, you can't measure a game like that. But we find them tough physically. So we've had a couple of games against them now. They're really, really good at the jackal. The second player in, getting over the ball. They slowed down a lot of our ball, created a lot of errors around the ruck for us. And I assume it's going to be doubly difficult here, given they're on home turf. Always when you've had a big win, it's really often difficult to follow up with another performance. And similarly, when you've had a big loss, it's pretty easy to follow up with a good performance because you're desperate. So I'm expecting a much closer game, and that's what we need to be fair. We need to be tested really, really hard leading up to World Cup.
Because given this is your opponent in that first round, how much are you holding back tactically?
I think I said this the other day. Often we don't know what we're doing, so it's pretty hard for the other team to know. But seriously, we're hard to scout because we score a lot of our tries from turnover ball or from kick receipts, that unstructured play. And what I love about that is that it suits our our population, our rugby playing population, and that we've got good skills, we've got adventurous spirit, and we have a set, what would you call them, a set number of efficient movements that we do to be able to play that sort of game, and it meshes sort of 15 players with ability into like a bit of a blur coming at you, so it's pretty hard to scout and it's hard to match up against. So yeah, I'm not too concerned about whether we're predictable or not. I don't think we are.
Any other questions for Wayne, or should I bring the girls in?
Yeah, I'll jump in, Libby, if that's all right.
All good.
G'day, Wayne. Clay from RNZ here. How are you?
Oh, good, thanks, Clay. Yeah.
You spoke after last week's test about the improvement from the forwards. I guess what sort of further development are you looking for this weekend from your forward pack?
Yeah, I thought the forward pack was really good. Some of the areas that we need to improve on are the skill areas right across the board. Catch pass close to the opposition. The communication to go with that, so being really accurate with our communication, so making sure that everyone knows what's on and who's got to do what. And also the clarity, I guess, around each person's role in our plays. And I talked about how our unstructured play and our counter-attack is based on efficiency. It looks like flair, but it's flair. It's just hard work camouflaged, basically. And so getting those movements right, making sure we're attacking the right spaces, doing what's obvious really quickly. Those are some areas that we still got to nail.
I guess just
I've given our game plan away.
In terms of, you've spoken quite a bit about this expansive attacking style that you're trying to develop, and in relation perhaps to, you've mentioned about the strengths of New Zealand rugby players and the players that you're picking from, but also in relation to the strengths of some of your rivals, particularly in the Northern Hemisphere. How does that feed into wanting to play this way?
Yeah, we came to a conclusion together early on in the season that playing a traditional game against a lot of these teams isn't going to cut the mustard. Like, you can't, there's not much point kicking the ball out in your own 22 and giving a line out to the opposition, who are then going to drive for a penalty, get the penalty, kick down to the corner, drive again, get another penalty, kick close to the corner, drive and score a try. There's no point playing like that. It doesn't lead anywhere. So we've had to change our game to a more attacking strategy. Both our kicking strategy and our ball and hand strategy has to be attacking, and it's not easy. It's not easy for players to adapt to that. You know, if you're on your own goal line, the initial response is to just kick it out. But of course, you're only taking the pressure off for a matter of seconds, maybe a minute, and then it's coming back on you. So, yeah, we've got to be way more innovative than that and have way more courage. We talk about courage a lot in this team, and I'm not talking about physical courage, I'm talking about the mental courage to have a crack even when you're down your own goal line.
And just, you sort of alluded to this a little bit earlier with Joseph, but this is obviously your last scheduled game, but Wes did hint earlier in the week that there might be some other things in the pipeline. Are you able to shed any light on anything that might be coming between, in between this second test and that first World Cup game?
No, Wes obviously knows more than I do. I haven't looked that far ahead. No, my attitude now is we've got to make some decisions and get on with it.
Oh, great, thank you.
The test match is scheduled to kick off at midday in Adelaide. Is the heat a concern? And how do you adapt to that if it is?
How cool is that, midday? Wouldn't that be great in New Zealand? I've got a 2.5-year-old granddaughter who says to me when I FaceTime her, "Papa, I'd be Black Fern." And she couldn't come to the game because it was 7 o'clock at night. How great's that? 12 o'clock, going to have all those young girls in Adelaide coming to the game. Don't think we've got to worry too much about the heat here, Adam. It's about 12 degrees, I think, at the moment. It's been 11 to 12 degrees every day, and that's a high.
Right, and the other question I had for you is you had a long tenure with the All Blacks and you had some colourful referees. How have you found the officiating of women's internationals as opposed to men? Are there big differences or is it much the same?
Much the same. I actually find the women referees really easy to deal with, and Nikki, who looks after them, really open to feedback. We don't give a lot of feedback, really. I just sort of take the view, you know, everyone's doing their best. You can't really change much. What I would like to see is probably less commentary from TMOs. I'd like to see these women refs have the opportunity to referee the game rather than being told constantly that that's right, oh, I'll have a look at that. I reckon we just should be letting them ref. But that's my opinion. They're good. We get them to come to trainings. We get on well. They know the law. I'd let them go for it.
And my final question, in terms of the Wharapama Cup, are there players you're willing to name that are in contention for the squad?
No.